Sorry for the late start. Hey, Mamo. Alright. Oh, right. One of the things I was trying to get done before I started stream. Let's flip this over here. There. Looks a little bit more presentable. Okay. So, still chipping away at my Tau. Still got a good bit left to get done before next week. So, I've been prioritizing stuff that I'm I've been prioritizing the stuff that I'm more confident that I'm going to be bringing with me. So, let's get my reference image ready here. Alright. Yeah, so today, going to be working on Commander Shadowsun. Get these little drone bases out of the way here. Oh, right, help if I put these on. Oops, moment. Okay. No, did I not actually? Okay, there we go. Alright, sorry, I am a little behind here and getting stuff ready. To be honest, I have no memory of ever putting this song in my playlist, but I like it. moment. I think I mentioned this last time, but my Tau had been sitting around, ready to be painted, for, heck, probably almost a month. But I just had other stuff I had to get done sooner. So, they have all accumulated a little bit of dust. And generally, I've been cleaning that off when I start painting them, but as I've been in a bit of a rush today, didn't get a chance to do that. Or rather, I forgot to do that. So, I unfortunately have not made a ton of progress on things since the last stream, because the Twin Lance ended up taking basically the entirety of the time in between last stream and today, which I knew they would take me a little while, but I was hoping I'd get them done a little bit faster than that. And even then, they're not entirely done. I have a couple decals to do on one of them, and then they'll be finished. After I finish things tonight, I guess I should probably start working on my Storm Surge, because it is not fully assembled, and if I want to get a practice game in with it, I need to get that done so I can assemble it. I don't usually do sub-assemblies for painting, but I've found that when I do stuff like knights, it's a lot more helpful to do it that way. And I figure since the Storm Surge is about the same size, it's probably, in the long run, going to be easier. Let's get a... Oh, okay. I made some assumptions that were not correct on the color scheme. Okay. Oh, a few things that were not correct. Alright, well... I mean, that's fine. It doesn't need to be one-to-one, because I'm not doing the intended colors anyway, but... Alright, how do I want to go about this, then? Actually, I think that's gonna... Sorry, I guess you all can't see what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at a color reference for the intended color scheme, so I know if, like, how I want to map my colors to things. It looks like the guns are supposed to be all black, which I don't think I actually want to do. That I'm gonna keep the change. Okay. If I am gonna change, I like to know what the intended colors are, as I mentioned this before. If I know what the intended colors are, then if there is something I want to do differently, I don't know, there's just a little bit more intent behind changing them. That being said, the elbow joints on the arms should have stayed blue. I was even thinking that as I was painting them, but trusted that my memory was correct and my instinct was wrong. The lesson here is I shouldn't trust my memory. Not that my gut instinct was necessarily any more trustworthy, but I should know that my memory is not. So, I don't know what plan B is for tonight if I finish painting this super early. I might just get out the drones that Shadowsun uses, but if I recall, those drones in particular aren't even, like... It's not, none of them are weapons, so it's like, it's not even necessarily helpful information for the other person. Like, the drones in general are like, you know, like I said, it's kind of up in the air as to whether or not people even bother putting them on the table. And Shadowsun's drones especially are just like passive abilities, so they help even... They are unique passive abilities, so it's like, why do they even have to be tied to a drone in the first place? Just, you know, just treat them as a ability like anything else. I mean, like, for the purposes of, putting stuff on the table. Like, lore-wise, it's cool that, you know, specify that it's the drones doing it. Absolutely, but... Just they're not, when I've got a deadline of stuff I need to get, well, yeah, not the right word. When I have a deadline of getting all this stuff done, things like the drones are at the very bottom of the priority. especially drones that aren't super meaningful. You know, I am a little surprised Shadowsun can't lead stealth suits. Considering I'm pretty sure her power armor design is like the basis for the new stealth suit models. Granted, I guess Shadowsun came out before we had the new stealth suits, but I don't know. Still would be nice to have a leader for them. It would also help Shadowsun herself not feel so vulnerable to getting killed, but I mean, even with lone op. I don't know, maybe that is a change they'll make next edition. Like I was talking about last time, the Tau don't have a lot of characters. I do like the four-armed design though. That is fun. All right, let me take a look again. Yeah, I do already see a few places where I think I am gonna diverge from the intent here a little. thought so. Before I get too much further, let's fix the arms that I should not have painted black. The actual, like, elbow joints should be, but not the upper arm. Again, I was even kind of wondering about that as I was doing it, but... Alright. Gotta do some more cleanup and stuff, but we'll come back to that. Favorite song from Kingdom Hearts? Yeah, it's very good. Kingdom Hearts music in general is just, across the board, so good. had a bot. Painting one or two minis to stream tonight? Don't know. Depends on how long it depends on how long things take. Also, hey, how's it going? I don't really have an estimate on how long any one particular thing is gonna go, so. Yeah, at the very least, I should be able to get this one done, because I'm already making good progress on it. Well, I don't know if I'll get more than this one done, but we'll see. I might need to very briefly step away in a moment to grab one of the battle suits I've already painted, just because I don't remember exactly how I painted the fusion guns on those. And I think I'd rather more consistently paint them the same I did on... paint these the same I did on that one, than the, like, all black they have in the intended color scheme.
to see me. Just a cage of bones. There's nothing inside. Will it always be burning down the walls?
Alright, let me check this again. Alright, yeah, I need to, Alright, one moment. I need to go grab one of my other models just to use as a reference. Alright, it had been a little bit since I painted these, and I couldn't remember exactly how I spread around the colors, so I just wanted to see how I did it before so I could be consistent. ant crawling around in my pallet. Oh, heck, you know what? Hold on. I completely forgot to set the camera properly. That's better. I'm sure that's much easier to see now, or at least hopefully it is. I completely forgot it defaults to the wider shot, and then I have a second one saved to zoom in a bit, and I forgot to change that. I forgot to change to that one. Apparently, I am just very unprepared today. Alright. Oh. One moment. Wet pallet's getting a little dried out. Put any water at all in it today, so that would do it. Go. Hello. More Tau? Yep. Yeah, I've got about a week and a half left at this point to get the rest of my army painted, so yeah, I'm gonna be doing a lot of Tau painting for a bit here. I'm not making horrible progress on them, but again, the biggest trouble is because I've not gotten any practice with them yet, it's hard to know what stuff I'm going to end up taking with me. I'm planning on getting one practice game in on Sunday. And hopefully that will be education enough to know how confident I am in what I've picked. And then if I do need to swap anything around, I've still got a week to paint whatever I am bringing in. And hope that anything I'm swapping out isn't anything that I've devoted too much time to getting done. Like to go skill, turned out great. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it as well. Which is honestly part of why I'm working on Shadowsun today, because it just seemed like a good, what's the word I want? Similar designs. And maybe just go from Shadowsun to my stealth suits. Just progressively smaller and smaller stealth battle suits. I did finish, well, except for a couple decals, I did finish the Twin Lance yesterday, so at the very least, that's done. Because I think the Twin Lance is like the one non-negotiable thing in my whole army of like, I am taking this no matter what. They are too good to leave out. Also, they just seem so fun to play. Shadowsun I'm not 100% sold on, but I don't, since I'm not allowed to run any ethereals, I don't have a lot of means of generating CP, so Shadowsun might be one of the few ways I can. So I am very hesitant to cut them because of that. Also, like, for not being especially durable, she has a lot of firepower. But that's what practice games are for. Or, I guess, practice game singular in my case. I like Shadowsun. Stealth suits, attack on backlines. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, I am shocked they didn't give Shadowsun the ability to lead stealth suit units. Like, again, maybe next edition when the Tau get their next codex, but I don't know. It's just a surprising thing they didn't. It's just surprising to me that they didn't do that. Like, I know she has Lone Op, but still. We've gotten Lone Op units in the past that can also give that up to lead another unit. And like I said, without ethereals, Shadowsun's, I think, my only way of generating extra command points, so that alone is probably a good reason to have her, even if not the most durable. And I guess there is an enhancement I can throw on like a crisis suit for it, but I don't really have the points to spare on that. Plus, all my commanders already have different enhancements, and I don't really want to cut any just to add that. Although, I guess there probably is an argument to be made to throw that on the commander on my Flamer crisis suits. Since I'm most likely going to be overwatching with them fairly frequently, and then potentially getting that command point back on Overwatch. That might even be more reliable than Shadowsun, honestly. Although, or I could just keep them with the enhancement they have and just keep Shadowsun near them. That also works. Basically same result, but a little bit more flexible. I don't know. This is the kind of stuff I wish I had more time to puzzle out. But we'll see. I do love the enhancement for the internal grenade racks. That seems like that's going to cause some silly shenanigans. Especially when comboed with the shoot after or move after shooting stratagem. Because I triple checked. There is no limit to how many times the grenade rack enhancement can be used. It's just anytime you do a normal move, it triggers. So move over something, grenade them, shoot, move again, and pass over these. Either just pass over something else, grenade that. Could be very silly. Actually, you know what? I might need to do some shuffling around of enhancements now that I think about it. Because originally I was going to throw that on my Flamers because I knew I was going to be wanting them to be in close. But now that I'm thinking about it, I probably want to leave my Flamers, defensively, on objectives. Sorry about that. Had to get rid of a bot. So maybe I want to throw the grenade rack on one of the other commanders. And then I could throw the CP generation one on the Flamer team after all. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud. Sorry if that's not interesting to folks that don't know the 40k rules. Again, I've got a week to figure this stuff out, so it's on my mind. Although, yeah, talking through that, I think that probably is the better play. That might even change how my points are distributed, so I should look at that after stream tonight. Because if that's going to change how many extra points I have, or how for fewer points, that might change the priority of stuff that needs painted. Have the old models of Farsight and Shadowsun still. Nice. Yeah, I had, like, back when I first... So I guess 9th edition was still around when I started playing Kill Team. And, I had wanted to pick up the old Farsight model just to use as a kit bash for something in Kill Team, but I had no idea what to use it for. Also, I don't think I realized at the time how big Tau battlesuits were, because I, was brand new getting into 40k, so it probably wouldn't have worked for anything regardless. But, yeah, then the new model for Farsight came out, and I love it. Like, the old model's great, too. In fact, if it wasn't so expensive to get a hold of now, I would be very sorely tempted to just try to kit bash it as, like, another more unique-looking commander for my, Crisis suits. I don't think I ever saw the old Shadowsun model. Heard they're coming out with new Crisis suits. I hope so. Like, I love all the look of all the Tau battle suits, both the like sleek and the clunky. But man, side by side, the Crisis suits are a little I don't know. They just don't look as, like, what's the word I even want? They don't look bad. Just side by side with some of the newer battlesuit designs, they feel lacking in some respects. They're very awkward to pose, for one thing. Like, I don't even think the visual look of the battlesuits is bad. Their poses are very rigid and awkward. So even if they look the same, but just have a little bit more, like, again, just some better posing on them, that could do a lot. Also, the fact that there's probably something I'm doing wrong, but the fact that most of the time I can't get the shoulder pad on and a gun at the same time, that's a little bit of an awkwardness to their build. But yeah, I hope that's true. I had not heard that rumor, but I really hope you're right. That would be fantastic to see. It would feel a little bad after just painting 4 units of them, just for them to, now that I'm finally done with those, for them to come out with new sculpts, but I'll probably pick some up anyway. I mean, I'm always happy when new sculpts come out and they look great. Like, I don't know if you've seen it, but the new Weird Boy for Orcs looks so good. I'm not even an Orc player, and I want to get that. Granted, I just like Weird Boys in general. They're fun. But it is one of those models that makes me wish I played Orcs. Although, actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, a new box of Crisis Suits would make a lot of sense, especially considering they have parts and, like, for one thing, they have parts that are not used anymore. Like, I don't even know what an Iridium suit was, but its parts definitely aren't for anything anymore, at least not in current editions. And I couldn't even find anything about it as like a Legends unit. Also, even like the advertising for them shows them all like mixed equipment, and they don't work that way anymore. So, you know, that would be nice if it would be nice if that was a little bit more up to date. I am curious if they do make new Crisis Suits, what that'll mean for the units. If there's still going to be like 3 different units that can have specific equipment, or if they'll go back to a more generic mix and match style. Because honestly, if they went back to like, you can just have any, like a combination of just 2 weapons regardless of the types, and I don't know, maybe make them like battle line or something. That could be interesting. Of course, granted, if there's like one particular type that's like just better than all the others, then making them battle line could be a problem, but I don't know. I don't know what the solution there is. Generic mix and match, I'm hoping. Yeah, same. To be honest, the twin suits look cool with how they have... Oh, yeah, no, like, being monopose is not bad. It's just monopose with these proportions doesn't look fantastic. Like, their arms are super rigid and aren't posed particularly well. Whereas the Twin Lance, like, this looks great. Like, just the proportion... Oh, not even in front of the camera. The proportions and posing on it are just very, very well done, even if you can't really change up the stance of it very well. Although on that subject, like I think I talked about this a little bit last stream. I'm wondering if we're going to get some Warmaker suits as like a generic unit as well, because there's some aspects of the way the Twin Lance are designed, like the way their parts are made, that seems like they are able to kind of slot in some different, like there's things on like the bottom of the arms that you could fit a weapon onto in the same way that you do the Crisis suits that just aren't used, or rather, like hold on, let me look again. Maybe that's a bad example. I don't know. There's places where it looks like they are a little bit more flexible for attaching different parts than what the actual kit uses, and just one makes me wonder if they are sort of even outside of the context of the lore a prototype of stuff we might be getting in the future. That would be cool. Maybe a better broadside too. Yeah. Yeah, again, like the broadside, like again, I think the broadside looks better, but it does kind of suffer from the same proportions issue that the Crisis suits do. Like I think it works. I think it's like its arms and legs are a little bit longer for the boxy body, and I think it looks a lot better than the typical Crisis suits do. But I would not be opposed to just seeing a new idea behind those as well. Honestly, just anything. Any new stuff for the Tau, I will be excited about. Because don't get me wrong, I am super happy with the Twin Lance. Like, they are such a cool looking unit. Seem very good as well. But being an epic hero, you only got one, right? So it doesn't really change up. Like, you'll make room for the Twin Lance to be in the army no matter what. But nothing else really changes. Nothing that you could run like multiples of or fun combos with things. It's just sort of they're just kind of standalone. The old broadside is metal, bulky. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I actually did like the design of the old broadsides of the rail rifles being like, instead of one big rail rifle, it's two individual railguns on the shoulders. I liked that a lot. I don't know if that's the same old one that you're talking about, but I kind of wish we had that version of it still. Although I guess there's nothing stopping me from trying to do a kit bash of that. Shoulder rails, yeah. Yeah, I just really like the look of the shoulder-mounted railguns, but again, though, I guess if I was if I really wanted it that badly, I could probably make that work. Now I'm actually really tempted to try to make that work. If I ever have the parts to spare, I might play around with that idea. Because I have more than enough leftover, like back thrusters from commanders that would fit those. And I could probably get creative with attaching the rail rifles to those. Yeah, this might be something I have to try now. You know something I would actually love to see? I'd love to see the Tau get some, like, named... almost done with my 12 batch Black Templars. Nice, nice. Those the same ones you were working on my last stream? But I'd like to see the Tau get, like, a named commander or something that does the same trick as Canis Rex does for Imperial Knights, where after you destroy the vehicle, the pilot, like, gets out, like, the pilot survives on foot afterwards. That could be a fun gimmick with the battle suits. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. What's the, I know you say you're almost done. What's your progress looking like? How much more do you have left to do? Granted, I say that knowing how clunky the rules are for Sir Hector and Canis Rex. 1,500 more points. That doesn't sound like almost done, but I will take your word for it. I assume you had many more than that to do. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. Well, then yeah, as much as it doesn't sound like it, you're in the home stretch. Thankfully, I don't have that much more of the Tau to do. How? Actually, now I'm curious. About how far am I? Let's see. 4 units of crisis suits. I'm just gonna... There are more, but I'm just gonna estimate that at about 100 points each. 3 commanders with enhancements, probably about another 100 points each. Farsight. Altogether, that's probably about 800 points. And then Ghost Keel, Twin Lance, probably another 300 combined. Okay, then that... If my very, very rough math is correct, I am about halfway done. Point-wise, anyway. Taking my time with Black Templars, love the details and making conversions for all my Space Marines. Nice. Yeah, that is the one thing I do love about Space Marines, is how... I don't know if easy is the right word. Well, yeah, maybe easy is the right word, but, like, how easy it is to find cool opportunities for kit bashing and conversions and whatnot. Like, I've used the, what's his name? The Iron Hands character in the Gravis armor as a, like, I scraped off all the Iron Hands markings and just painted him as a regular Tech Marine for my Dark Angels. And I'm going to try doing something similar with the other Iron Hands character that's in the Terminator armor for, see if I can turn him into an Iron Warriors Terminator. About to do that too. Nice. Yeah, the, again, I am blanking on his name, but he is just such a good-looking model, and equipment-wise, just maps to a regular Tech Marine, so it's like, why wouldn't you do that? Also, I found it helps when if I'm running multiple Tech Marines and I need to throw an enhancement on one, it helps visually separate them for the other person. Tech Marine 2 repulsors, nice. Regular repulsors or executioners? I typically run like one of each. Regular for now? Okay, nice. Yeah, the reactive, like, get inside ability on the regular repulsor I like quite a lot. Might try executioners. Yeah, the executioner just makes so many attacks. I think it... How many is it? This is off the top of my head, so I am probably misremembering, but I want to say it has like 7 different weapon profiles that it fires all at once. It's silly. Yeah, and then, yeah, for Black yeah, that is one thing I'm very jealous of for Black Templars, is getting to throw multi-meltas on all your vehicles. Love it, yeah. Oh yeah, that is very very fun that you're able to do that. I'm actually surprised that like salamanders don't get something similar. Although I guess salamanders don't have their own codex yet, so that would probably be why. Heck, actually no, give salamanders like like heavy flamers or something. That could probably be a problem very quickly, but I don't know, it'd be fun. I just like to see like gimmicky equipment options for everybody. Alright. This is looking pretty good already. So satisfying? Yeah, that... Yeah, I am definitely a big fan of Meltas when I'm able to use them. I've, as of the last time I took them to a tournament, I've started taking a Devastator squad with my Dark Angels to just a full unit of multi-Meltas, and I've really enjoyed that. Especially if I can make room for a repulsor, because then you just have them all fire. You just stick them all in the repulsor, have a Tech Marine buff it to get rid of the penalty, their bad hit chance, and you just have a a very hard-hitting truck. Not super durable, but it's fun. Using a Predator from 30k, turned it into a cast one for my Black Templars, has both weapon options. Nice. Yeah, I am probably going to be looking into some 30k vehicles for once I finally get my Iron Warriors started. At the very least, for like Land Raiders and well, I don't know, maybe not Predators, just because I'm not as big of a fan of the rounded turret. But definitely for Land Raiders and Rhinos. Saturnine Terminators and Dread. Yeah, those I am still desperately trying to figure out something to use the Saturnine Terminators as proxies for in 40k. Like, I've not actually seen the models in person, but they look bigger, like big enough that they don't really work as regular Terminator proxies. I know someone will be mad, but I don't care. Fair enough. I don't know, maybe Obliterators. That could work, because they're a bit bigger than Terminators as well, if I recall. And would still kind of fit for the Iron Warriors. I think the Saturnine Dreadnoughts, though, I think that's a lot easier, because, like, that's about the same size as the Primaris Dreads, right? I think. Again, I've not actually seen them in person, so it's hard to picture scale in my mind, but... Same size as an... It's bigger than the Primaris ones. Oh, interesting. Same size. Oh, right, Centurions! Yeah, that would be a good candidate for for the Saturnine Terminators. Yeah, that is a good point. By an inch? That's not so bad. Ancient Centurions, yeah. Yeah, that could be a fun way to... a fun excuse to build some of those. Also, like, an inch bigger than the Dreads. It's not so bad. Like, as long as they're the same base size, I could still see that being, like, decent. If I was going to use them like that, I would, yeah. Yeah, I am always looking for excuses to use 30k and Necromunda stuff in 40k as proxies, just because there's a lot of fun models out there, and it's neat seeing them get used for other things. Like, I got a few Solar Auxilia to use as Voidsman crew for Rogue Trader. I love 30k proxy for 40k. Don't mind if someone uses them in proxy. Yeah, and honestly, like, I feel like that is the general thing, right? I've yet to run into a situation where, not saying it doesn't happen, but at least in my, like, local area, I've yet to run into an issue of proxies. Of, like, someone having a problem with them. And, like, I think there's reasonable places to draw the line. Like, if, like, your base size isn't even close, or, like, it's just complete, like, or the model itself is just completely the wrong size, or doesn't visually match things at all. I can see there being, like, you know, there are lines to be drawn for sure, but for the most part, I've yet to really run into anything too bad. Like, heck, I have a kit bash I did of Ezekiel for the Dark Angels that, one, because I built it out of Primaris parts, it's on a 40mm base, and is, you know, the size of a normal Primaris Marine. Ezekiel's model hasn't been updated in, at least according to the post I read, 25 years. So he's still a pewter model on a 25mm base. So size-wise, mine doesn't work at all. So, like, that's one where I would not probably use it as a proxy outside of, like, just a friendly casual game. But it's still one of those things I had a ton of fun putting together. Rule cool, agreed, yeah. But heck, a lot of times half the fun of making proxies is just at least to me anyway, just the fun of making them, even if I'm not really using the proxy version. It's just a fun way to, like, I don't know, I enjoy the challenge of doing a kit bash, whether it's something that is practical or not. Chance to get creative with things. Still have a penitent engine that's full metal. Nice. Yeah, I wish I had gotten, I don't know. Part of me wishes, like, I had gotten into 40k a long time ago. Like, I wish I hadn't missed certain things. But on the other hand, I also feel like I kind of found the hobby right about when I needed it. Like, if I had gotten into 40k a long time ago, I might not have stuck with it like I have. So, it's a interesting question, but still, I guess the real thing is I wish there was, like, stuff I hadn't missed, because there are some cool old models that I wish were still around. Call it my paperweight. Fair. I thankfully have not had to work with any metal models at all yet. Um, and the way things are going, maybe I never will. Like, and that's probably fine. They seem like a pain to work with. I'm probably wrong in that, but oh, it sucks. Okay, good. I'm not wrong. Yeah, I am tempted to get the old Ezekiel model just so I can play him in a more like official way. Like if I were ever to like take him to a tournament. That being said, he's not amazing, so I don't know that it's even. It probably wouldn't even be worth the hassle. Like it would be a cool. It would be cool to have, but maybe I just don't bother. Like I have never heard. I have not heard any good things about working with metal models, other than that they're just cool. But the actual act of working on them apparently is, again, you backing that up is apparently not great. First seal of primer, then second seal after you. Oh. If you get him, make sure he is sealed 2 times so the paint. Ah, okay. Right, okay. I read the second post before the first one. Okay, so 2 coats of primer. Good to know. Yeah, I'm thinking I might not, because it's like it would be a cool model to have, but also he's not that good. Like he's one of the very few models I've seen that actually gives a downside to your unit. So that's a little, or not even that particular unit, just a downside in general to your army. Like if he dies, every allied unit within 6 inches has to take a battle shock test, which is just bad. It's so bad. So like if something just like happens to hit him with like if you just precision him out, it's so bad for me if that happens. And the buffs he gives are not worth that trade-off. It's like 1 extra attack to melee weapons in the unit. That's pretty much it. Like other than that, he's just a librarian. I'm honestly amazed that, again, it's if what I read is correct and his model has not been updated in 25 years, I am amazed he hasn't been retired, like that they haven't just moved him to Legends or something. That does suck. Yeah. Again, he's not great. Cool model, just not great. The only reason I would even ever run him is if I was specifically doing the librarian detachment for Space Marines. And even then, I don't know that he was really contributing that much. Think he's getting an update. That would be nice, honestly. Like, I think he's one of the last couple named characters we have for Dark Angels that hasn't been updated to Primaris right now. Like, it's just him and the leader of the Raven Wing are the only 2 left. And the Ravenwing model, at least, actually, he is also not great because stats and point wise, he's fine. But whatever unit you attach him to gains the fly keyword, but not actual flying movement. So you just are basically adding a weakness onto the whole unit of bikes. Which is not the worst. It's just that there's a lot of anti-fly weapons that you just kind of passively run into without even going out of your way to have them. So it's the one on the one on bike and the land speeder. The land speeder would be cool. I actually do love the Dark Shroud. It's I've started describing the Dark Shroud as the most annoying model you've never heard of. Because it's only 100 points, only has one gun, either a heavy bolter or an assault cannon, but just has a constant passive aura of everything in 6 inches of it gets stealth and cover. Basically just permanent smokescreen on everything around it. Like, it's not on by itself, it's kind of a nothing unit, but it's the last tournament I took it to, by the end of the tournament, everyone was like going out of their way to get rid of it because it was just obnoxious debuffing all their dice rolls. So, and again, the fact that it's only 100 points is, I think, well worth its obnoxiousness. Not only that, but because its gun is not amazing, it's a very easy thing for, like, mission actions as well. Like, you're not really giving up anything to have it do stuff. Cannon fodder. I don't know if I'd really call it cannon fodder, it's just... If not, maybe a distraction, but, like, it's... I don't know, like, I wouldn't really consider it expendable just because its aura is very good, but... It's definitely a nuisance that like people want to get rid of if they can. Although also just parking it in a building, like out of line of sight of everything, but close enough to the walls that the aura is getting out, is also like has proven to be very useful for me. Again, it is a very obnoxious unit in the most fun way. But yeah, I would love if that got... I would love it if it got, like, a visual upgrade and maybe even a little bit of a stat upgrade, because, it's, you know, it's still a firstborn model, so stat-wise, it's noticeably more fragile than the Primaris land speeders. So hopefully that I would not mind at all seeing a update to. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, as much as I would like to see new and updated kits for the Dark Angels, they've also have one of, like, I think they only have 2 units in Legends. Like, so as far as I'm aware, they've not really ever lost anything. So they've already got a pretty deep roster of stuff. So again, as much as I would love to see new and updated things for them, I can't really complain. Never knew Never knew that Shadowsun model looks good for detail. Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's basically sort of the design that carried over to the new stealth suits, I believe, more or less. Yeah, it's a good sculpt. I like it a lot, especially with the helmet option. I've never seen the old one, so I can't really compare that, but all of the newer Tau battlesuit models, at least in my opinion, have been very, very well designed. And I'm also glad that they, at least it seems to be a trend, that they're moving away from the, like, clear discs for the drone bases, and instead going to, like, where did I put them? Like, a regular base with just a pin for the flight stand. Yeah, I hated those. Yeah, because, like, my big thing with them is, because, you know, I do the typical thing that most people do, is I throw magnets on the bottom of the base to put into a carrying case for them. But you can't really do that with those clear discs. I mean, you can, but then you have to use a bunch to make sure that it's not going to, like, wiggle. and then it's just also going to look ugly if you don't paint over top of them or something. And I don't know, it's very awkward to work with for the kind of carrying case that I use. Now, they haven't universally across the board gotten rid of them, unfortunately. Like, anything that's older than the most recent kit still uses them, but still, it's a good... I'm glad to see that it at least seems to be a trend that they are phasing them out. Heck, they could just sell, like, drone bases. That's, like, basically just what I showed. Like, it's just a 32mm base with a little rock to stick the flight peg in, and I would buy them, like, just for the sake of not having to hassle with either making the clear ones work or, like, modifying them to fit on regular bases. I would, like, people would buy them. That would be very easy money for them if they would do that. Right now, my plan to deal with the drones is I'm gonna do the second thing I said. I'm gonna take just regular 32mm bases and cut the little pin off the bottom of the flight stand and just try to glue it directly on. Hopefully, hopefully that works. It should, as long as I don't, like, put too much pressure on it and break the flight stand off, but shouldn't be an issue anyway. I want the sniper drones back from Fine. Yeah, same. I know, I've heard some people speculating that the Firesight team is probably going to be going away. If not next edition, then maybe the one after, because it's following the typical trend of it just keeps getting worse until nobody wants it anymore, and then it gets cut from the codex. But I would love to see it either get a update with maybe slightly better rules, or if nothing else, a sort of similar replacement that's not the Kroot Lone Spear. Like, don't get me wrong, the Lone Spear's fine. It's just, again, I guess I'm kind of biased in that I don't really care about the Kroot, but the fact that the fact that it is one of your sniper options that cannot take advantage of targeting things is just very odd mechanically. Like, it makes sense why it works that way. It's just it's the fact that none of the Kroot work with your army rule is just such a downside for me. It's probably why part of the big reason why I don't like the idea of running them. Back in 7th through 9th, it was great. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people say it's like bad. It's like mediocre to fine in 10th, but I can't really speak from experience on that, just from what I've heard other people talking about. I love the look. Like, I love the look of the sniper drones so much. Like, if they're not going to update the Firesight team and just give it a new model with maybe some better stats and get rid of it, like, I hope we at least get something that's, like, an acceptable replacement for it. Like, I don't know, like a lone op stealth suit with a rail rifle or something. That would be cool. But, yeah, I would prefer if the Firesight team was better, and also not, yeah, like you said, not a fine cast kit. I'm almost to the point of conversion. Yeah, oh, I have already made my own as well. I had some leftover parts. Like I had enough leftover parts to kit bash an extra Tau body, and I chopped up a few bits from extra drones, and basically I made a approximation of one to use in the meantime. When I get up to change out my paint water for the wash, I will grab it and show it off for a second. I only made one drone because realistically, one, I didn't have the parts to make a full 3, and also realistically, it doesn't really matter. As long as I have the one drone to show what it is, that does the job. Sniping Assassins was awesome. Yeah, yeah, like, I want the Tau to have basically an equivalent to the Vindicare, which the Firesight team is not. Like, I love playing the Vindicare so much. But, actually, no, let's not use that one. Yeah, the Firesight team just seems fine. Like, honestly, the sniping aspect of them is very secondary to what I would even probably end up using them for. Like, they're a lone op unit that can do mission actions for you, and they have the marker light keywords, so they're good at spotting stuff. Like, that's probably the best use to get out of them. Which, I mean, as it is not bad, right? Like, that's still very useful. And they're only like, what, 60, 65 points, something like that? So, not hard to fit into a list either. Although, I guess technically speaking, so would be a unit of, like, Fire Warriors. 65. Or, not Fire Warriors, Strike Team, right? I think Strike Team's about the same point cost. So. Or maybe I'm just thinking of the Vespids, which Vespids wouldn't be able to marker light things, but... yeah, okay. So yeah, hard. I mean, I guess lone op. That's the one benefit, is they can just kind of hang out in the back of the board and do things and largely be like unbothered. I don't know. I still want to run them. I love the gimmick of them, even if stat-wise they're not great. I love the look of the actual Finecast model. I just wish it wasn't Finecast. Because I've thankfully not built a lot of Finecast models, but every single one of them has been a miserable experience. Because, let's see, what all were they? It was the Raven Wing Leader, Inquisitor Eisenhorn, couple others, I think. Probably a couple of the Necromunda kits I've gotten were Finecast, although... oh wait, no, they would have all been Forge World. Maybe that is it, but... even so, just... I really, really dislike Finecast. I mean, yeah. I think that's just a universal sentiment. go. I know. I really need to stop. I want Legion of the Damned back. Yes, thank you. Absolutely. Like, give them a kill team. Like, that is a perfect place for them to come back, right? Like, give them a kill team that's playable in Imperial Agents. And, yeah, that would be fantastic. That is definitely one of the things that I wish I had been into 40k early enough to have grabbed some. Wife is if they are coming back, we're getting them. Yeah, they're such. It's such a. I love the concept of them, and what models we had for them were so cool looking. That is one of the things I'm very disappointed I missed. Because I guess they still have like Legends data sheets I could play for fun, but getting the models would be such a pain now. Though I guess I could always get like 3D printed like proxy parts or something, but that's a lot of work. So expensive on eBay, yeah. Again, I very firmly stand by my thought of like, again, they are perfect for kill team. Like, just make a single unit of them. For 40k, they can just go in Imperial Agents, which I think is where they were before anyway. But, like, Kill Team would, like, let them kind of shine a lot more. To be honest, I thought Black Templar wasn't coming back. Or Sisters of Battle. Really? I mean, I guess I could maybe see that happening with Black Templars, just because, like, what chapters they choose to have codexes or not at this point is starting to feel more and more arbitrary, but Sisters of Battle, I feel like you can't really cut them. The way everything was going back then and out of left field, bam. Well, hey, I again, makes total sense why they chose to do it, but I still find it extremely funny that Black Templars have a codex and Imperial Fists don't. Like, Imperial Fists will probably always remain, like, generic Space Marine. Because, like, you can't... It gets a little weird if, like, every chapter gets a codex. Like, some stuff needs to stay, needs to stay generic, but Sisters Battle Witch really. I only started playing recently, so I didn't know any of this. Huh. I did not know that. What edition was that? Hello. Pin down my ears. Second. Oh, okay. That makes a little more sense then. Okay, because like now sisters are so like integral to the setting that I couldn't ever see them potentially just going away as an army. But yeah, I guess all the way back then that makes way more sense. Again, talking to someone who is very recently into everything. Pin down your Iron Warrior scheme today. Nice. You more or less following the typical design, or are you doing something your own? Mine are probably going to be pretty vanilla, but I've seen people do some cool things, some cool alternatives as well. I just really like the vanilla Iron Warriors colors. Wait, really? Last Codex released in 6th and didn't come back until 9th? Really? That is wild to me. It's pretty close. I'm just using rather specific washes to get a colder vibe. Nice. Yeah, I did not know that. Huh. Well, I guess with that knowledge, I'm glad they came back. Geez, what a faction to just, like, drop. Like, I have a hard time picturing any faction, honestly, like, just dropped from the game. Like, I guess if any of them, like, I could see just one of these editions, they just don't release, like, a Votan Codex or something one of these days, just because they seem to have a hard time remembering they exist. But I would never want to see that happen. Most requested army in 40k universe. Yeah, like, that does not surprise me. Huh. Cataphract Terminator with minor conversions to run as a Chaos Terminator. Nice. Yeah, I am definitely going to be looking at some 30k stuff. I'm probably going to be using a fair amount of 30k stuff for my Iron Warriors as well. Just because it fits the cleaner look for them. It feels weird using the word cleaner with anything chaos related, but the Iron Warriors are definitely like the one circumstance that you do kind of want that. A little bit, anyway. But yeah, I definitely want to get some Cataphract Terminators, because, like, the new character is kind of using Cataphract, right? Also have a Defiler to build and Krevig Morn on back order. Nice. Some Red Corsairs Raiders for my inventory. Yeah, I also just picked up some Red Corsairs as well that I'm going to kit bash as Well, I say kit bash. I'm not going to have to make many alterations, but I'm planning, because I play Dark Angels as my main Space Marine army, I'm planning on using the Red Corsairs to build some Fallen. Figured that could be fun. Also really want to get a Domitar. I started as Dark Angels, fun fact. Nice. Yeah, I picked them entirely because I picked them up entirely because when they came out with the new model for Lion, I wanted to paint it so badly that when I was sort of looking at factions to get into, I just ended up going with it because with them just because I really wanted an excuse to get that miniature. And don't regret it, because I have very much enjoyed all the lore that I have since gotten into because of it. Lion is still a favorite Primarch. Admittedly, I don't know much about a lot of them, but I agree. I actually don't even know who, like, alternatively, if I wasn't counting Lion, if I had another favorite Primarch. I just don't know enough about most of them. Like, I enjoy the memes about Perturabo, but I don't actually know enough about him other than that, so I don't think that really counts. It might still be Perturabo. I don't know. At the very least, I enjoy the running jokes around him, no matter how, like, accurate they are or aren't. Dorn is my Primarch as main Space Marines as Imperial Fists. Ah, nice, nice. I mean, Dorn's armor in his 30k model is so good. Like, visually, Dorn is definitely one of my favorite Primarchs, like, just design-wise. Like, visual design, for me, favorites. Like, again, not going into, like, lore and character and whatnot, but just visually favorite Primarchs are probably Perturabo, then Lion, then Dorn. Dorn all the way. Yeah. No, you're. I mean, yeah. Perturabo doesn't build anything; he just breaks them. I love the jokes of Perturabo just hates everybody, including his own legion. And I don't know. I find that amusing. Purdy builds things with the assumption that they will be broken. Yeah. I am curious what the next Loyalist Primarch ends up being. Like, I think there's pretty good arguments for a lot of them. My gut is still on Vulcan, just because he's kind of the most inevitable of all of them, and it feels like the easy guess, but that's not necessarily saying that the one I want the most to do. It just general, just if I were just to make a guess, that would be mine. Perturabo first, probably Vulcan. Oh yeah, no, Perturabo, I feel like at this time Perturabo is all but confirmed. Like, they've not actually said it, but they've been dropping so many hints and teases that at this point it has to be coming. And then, yeah, my guess is still Vulcan for the next Loyalist Primarch. I think it goes Dorn, Russ, then Vulcan. That could be too. Actually, yeah, Dorn coming back next would be good, just so that he and Perturabo can continue hating each other. That would be fun. The reason I think Vulcan is less likely because he doesn't have an actual sub-army. Yeah, I mean, neither does Gilliman, right? Although at this point, one could argue that Ultramarines have more unique units than ones that have their own codexes, but that's besides the point. We're not going to get into that today. I mostly joke. I have no problem with Ultramarines having a bunch of stuff. They are the mascots after all, but it's funny to be grumpy about it. Technically, Ultramarines, as the more generalized army, Space Marines is kind of their army. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I actually have no issue with Ultramarines being handled the way they have been. It's just, I just find them funny. Looks at Black Templars and how many Crusades they have. Well, actually, hold on. Come to think of it, what Space Marine chapters have their own armies that don't have a Primarch model? Black Templars, which technically don't have a Primarch. I mean, it's Dorn, but you know, like, he would be Imperial Fists, not Black Templars. Sanguinius is dead. And I think that's it, right? We don't have, like, that's all the actual codex. Oh, Space Wolves, right, yeah, no, right, Leman Russ. Right. Yeah, I guess of all the Space Marine chapters that have a codex, that don't have a Primarch, that can, would be Leman Russ, yeah. So yeah, I could see that. I think that's why, aside from Dorn and Purdy's grudge match, Russ is most likely. Yeah, that's fair. Although, yeah, I would love to see... I think I would love to see Dorn brought back next, if only so he can just continue being angry at Perturabo. That would be very fun. I think Corax is the least likely to return. So my stance on Corax is, and I know if they went this way, it would probably, like, disappoint anyone who plays Raven Guard. So, you know, I totally get why this opinion would not be, you know, why a lot of people would not want things to go this way. But I just, thematically, it would be cool if we did eventually get Corax back, but he is, at this point, just completely lost. Like, just become something from the warp at this point. Like Corax finally comes back and he's a model for Chaos Marines or something along those lines. The best bit, oh, Dorn doesn't really care about Perturabo. Yeah, okay, so that's one of the things where I need to learn more about the Primarchs in depth, because all I really know is, like, the stuff leading, like, about each Primarch leading up to the Horus Heresy. And then, like, the joke, like, not really jokes, but just sort of, like, the general, like, memes and stuff people say about them. So it's like, I don't really know a lot about them beyond that. So yeah, like, I assumed Perturabo and Dorn was much more of a grudge thing. Oh, okay, I see. So it's Perturabo hates Dorn, but Dorn doesn't care. Okay, no, that I like even better. That's also good. Yeah, I am I am so excited to see what Perturabo's 40k model finally looks like. I don't even really have much for expectations. Like, I know they showed that one bit of, like, vague art of it, which kind of more or less looks like he did in 30k, just a bit more machinery like, bolted on. But, as vague as it was kind of hard to get a good idea of where they're headed with that. Also, I've noticed the sense of scale in the, like, images that are, like, in the same art style as the codex, it tends to be a little skewed sometimes, so I can't tell if he's actually that enormous, or if, they're reining... I mean, they're probably reining that in quite a bit. Like, that was probably just a cool bit of art and not something to really judge too much off of. Still, I am excited to see whatever it ends up being. Gonna assume Perturabo will be the size of Angron. I mean, that'd still be pretty cool. Like, I know some people have, like, been assuming he's gonna be, like, the size of a knight, just based off of that image, and I don't... As much fun as that would be, I don't feel like that's gonna be accurate. But yeah, just being as big as Angron would still be really cool. I just hope he's more playable than a lot of the Primarchs are, unfortunately. Like, I'm going to be running him regardless, because no matter how playable they are, it's always fun just putting a Primarch on the table if you have the ability to, but... I have definitely, in recent games, even had a hard time justifying Lion. Hope he's fun. Yeah, actually, yes. Let me rephrase that. I hope he's fun enough to be worth putting on the table. That is a much better way to put that. He's got a hand of guns. Yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah, same. Again, like, just going off of their 30k designs, Perturabo is absolutely my favorite, like, visual design, because his armor's just a big suit of machinery. It's just got a bunch of guns strapped to it. Like, there's nothing fancy about it. It's just a big machine covered in weapons. And, it is absolutely my favorite design of all the 30k Primarchs. And they've done such a good job with the visual look of all the, like, their 40k versions that I know I'm gonna like whatever it ends up being. It needs more DACA. If Dorn comes, I hope I can bring him with my Black Tumblers. I would honestly love that. I would love it if they do bring back Dorn, and you can use him like both generic Space Marines as Imperial Fists, and like if Black Templars could also run him. That I would absolutely be on board with that. Whether Dorn will be a unit that can be used. Like, I assume... I would love for him to be both. I assume he'll just be Imperial Fists, but I would really like both being an option. Also, assuming Dorn didn't bite it when Alferis fought him. Yeah, we still don't really know whether or not Dorn is actually dead or not, but I mean, I don't know, I feel like the general rule in most fiction is if there's not a body, they're not dead, but I feel like that's especially more true in 40k than even other things. Like, I know they tend to make it even more ambiguous than usual just to, like, give themselves the option of bringing them back in the future if they decide they want to, but... And even then, Xenos... Yeah, true. Like, apparently, we've still got a non-corrupted clone of Fulgrim out there that they could do something silly with if they really wanted to. Which I would love. I would love if we got a Fulgrim clone as a Loyalist Space Marine unit. Out there is in one of... Oh yeah, but, you know, stuff's got out of Trazine's, like, treasure pile before, I think. So it's not out of the question. Speaking of Terzine, I did recently pick up The Infinite and the Divine. I've heard that is a very fun read, and I'm very much looking forward to starting that. Actually not sure if it has ever happened. Oh, okay. I really wanted the annotated version of the book. Love that book. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Like, it sounds genuinely very fun. I always forget the name of the other Necron in it, but I know it starts with an O, but I cannot remember off the top of my head. But I have heard them compare, in specifically the way they are written in that book, very much compared to like Statler and Waldorf, or what's their name? Whatever their name, and Terzine's Excellent Adventure is the other joke name I've heard for that book, and it just sounds like such a fun time. Like, again, to be fair, like all this was like very complimentary comparisons that I was hearing. Like, none of these were considered to be downsides. Orican, yes, thank you. Yeah, Orican and Terzine's Excellent Adventure. I knew it started with an O. I don't know why I have such a hard time remembering their name. I guess I've just heard Terzine mentioned enough at this point that I don't have any problem remembering them. But not really ever getting into Necrons. I don't really know most of the other named characters. Yeah, again, it sounds like such a fun book. But yeah, maybe nothing ever has gotten out of Terzine's vault. I don't know, but it is a very good way of having stuff. Like, if they ever wanted to have something escape from Terzine's vault, it's a very good way to do that with like stuff that is just wild and out there. Necrons do have a bunch of interesting characters, just 90% of them are vaulted models now. Ugh, that sucks. Like, I adore Nemesaur, Zondrick, and Oberon. My Space Yowie. Very good. Yeah, I knew they had a bunch of older character, like, minis. I just didn't know that they were all, like, out of play at this point. That sucks. Yeah, my thing on 40k is I always like to see every faction get cool models and stuff, and so it's always a bummer when their neat things go away without replacements. Speaking of factions getting cool models, this isn't anything actually coming up, just things I'd like to see. Man, I wish we had, like, I would love to see some, like, more knight characters. Like, both regular and Chaos. Like, Chaos, the fact that Chaos Knights still don't have a single epic hero is kind of a bummer. Especially considering as far as I'm aware, their last new unit also wasn't really that great, so... I'd love to see that change. Also, I wish Loyalist Knights could get a Psyker unit as well. Like, I realize that the Psyker keyword's just a downside on, like, just kind of a downside on the Abominant, but I don't know. It's such a fun gimmick. Curious if Chaos Knights are going to get a Destrider class option. Yeah, same. Like, the fact that the Destrider's not runnable in Chaos Knights, like, is honestly really surprised me, and so they either have to be getting something else or just, once again, unfortunately getting the short end of things, which is a bummer. I mean, I guess while I'm going into my things I wish Knights had, I wish there was more reason to do, like, the thing for Canis Rex of, like, also having a pilot for the individual models. Like, I say that knowing Canis Rex's rules with Sir Hector are very clunky and not intuitive, and tend to cause some weird, like, granted, very edge case, but every now and then having some very weird rules interactions that you actually have to, like, sit down and figure out how they play out. But still, it just, for the ability to add more personality to them, both for regular and Chaos Knights, like, I wish you had cause to make pilots for them. I'd like to see Chaos get some weird options in the way of Knights. Yeah, same. Like, again, like, I love the Abominant. The Abominant is absolutely my favorite Chaos Knight, just because it's so unique. Both in, like, looks and its weapons, and, like, the fact that it's a Psyker. Even if that is more, like, downside than it's worth offensively, but I don't know, it's still cool. Like, if and when I do get any Chaos Knights to potentially run alongside my Iron Warriors, the Abominant's one of the first I'd go with. They could absolutely get some stuff to link them to factions the way the Defiler got. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, honestly, a Defiler in Chaos Knights wouldn't even be that out of place. Like, yes, it's a Space Marine and not a Knight, but something like the Defiler at the very least. If I got a Knight from Iron Warriors and wanted to be built like a walking forge. I would want to. I guess I would want to play the Abominant just as an ally for Chaos Space Marines, but you're right, no, if I were to actually build an Iron Warriors themed Knight, it would probably be something like the, which one is it? I always get I don't play Chaos Knights ever, so I, always forget their names. The one that can run regular Questoris weapons, that's not a Chaos unique one, anyway, building one with just double battle cannons, just a giant walking artillery platform, is very very Iron Warriors themed. I like my coherency. I think War Dogs would be neat. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that too. I mean, my understanding is the one good thing about Chaos Knights is again, I could be wrong because I have never actually played them, but War Dogs seem better than Armigers, like just because you have a bigger variety of options for them, and the way that the auras on Big Knights work is better than Bondsman. I could be misunderstanding that though. I wish Knights in general had better rules as allies. I think a fair number of players just want one Knight and some Armigers to go with their army, but losing out on interesting rules is unfortunate. Yeah. I'm biased, though. I love running a Knight with my Scions. Oh, yeah. No, like, granted, I tend to run either my Knight Crusader or Canis Rex as an allied Knight. And Canis Rex, at least, while he doesn't interact with your army roll, he doesn't have, like, Bondsman or anything like that, so... you're not really missing out on any abilities by running him. And the Crusader is just a lot of firepower on its own, and even if you're not being able to throw Bondsman on something, it's still kind of worth it. Yeah, but no, I love Knights so much. They are, without a doubt, my favorite faction in 40k. And I am always more than happy to find an excuse to throw them in with something. I wish I was better at playing them, but... Step 1, buy War Dogs. Step 2, stick big hammers to their arms. Step 3, iron within. Step 4, iron without. That's very good. You know what? I bet War Dogs would be good, like... I bet you could make some good Hellbrute kit bashes with War Dogs. Like putting Hellbrute weapons onto the War Dog bodies. That could be fun. I don't know if the size quite works, but that might be another thing to add to my list of potential kit bash experiments if I can pull it off. Not a big fan of using Chaos models for Iron Warriors. No, I kind of agree. Like, I feel like Iron Warriors don't really want to lean into the look of a lot of the general Chaos stuff. Like, in some aspects, sure, but there's definitely a lot of things that just do not fit them very well. Like, I know I've been thinking about picking up some Noise Marines, because I really like the way they're statted, and they seem like they'd be fun to play. But to make them fit with the Iron Warriors better, I'm probably going to use some, like, Havoc bodies for them, so that they at least match the Iron Warriors, like, visually. Like, the big mutated Hellbrute doesn't do it for me. I need them to feel possessed but mechanical by nature. Yeah, that's... I kind of agree. That like, the new Deviler is great. I think that it looks like... how did a friend of mine put it? It looks like a big mutated thing that maybe at one point used to be a Space Marine, but it still fits that, like, machinery look that the Iron Warriors want to lean into. Like, I think that's a great example of, like, the Chaos stuff that Iron Warriors wants to have, but yeah, there's a lot of it that, yeah, like you said about the Hellbrute, just doesn't quite match. Like, the Filer works for Iron Warriors because the fleshy parts visually are just stretched skin holding them. Yeah. So for Obliterators, I want to find some cool robot models to build them with. Yeah, I know you mentioned the Automata, which, yeah, would be a very good use for that. I wish that wasn't such an expensive resin kit, but, you know, because I would also want to do something very similar. but it would be cool. I actually thought about using, what are they called? Oh, what are they called? They're a Necromunda kit. I forget what they're called, but it's like a pair of, like, robot, like, automatons for Necromunda. I forget what their actual name is, but it's, like, reminiscent of, like, an Amble or something like that. Anyway, those, I think they're slightly smaller, but if I put them on the right base size at least, they might work for good, like, mechanical obliterator proxies. Ambots, yes, thank you. Never guessed what I watched 2 days ago. Okay, so, okay, so I'm on the right track there. Good to know. Yes, alright, I'll take that as I'll take that as that was a good idea. And I should just go ahead and do that then. Yeah, the Ambots I could see making decent obliterator proxies. Or no, that's what I was just saying. No, I could see them looking good in Iron Warriors colors. That's what I was meaning to say. You can literally just lore explain them as possessed Marines brain. I mean, being stuck into automata. I mean, yes, but also I think the Iron Warriors had automata, right? Like during the Heresy at least. Because, like, they've at least got the one model in 30k. Granted, I don't know anything about it, but they at least had some. Also, like, the Dark Mechanicum still exists, even if Games Workshop refuses to make models for them. So, I don't even think it's out of the question for Iron Warriors to just have automata. They use automata? Yeah. So yeah, you don't even really need an explanation. It's just part of their arsenal. Yeah, well, since apparently I'm not the only one who had that idea from the sounds of it, I may just go ahead and do that. At least once I'm actually working on my Iron Warriors. I've still got about 1,000, well, I have about 1,000 points of Tau that need to be done before next week, and then I've got a little bit more that will still need done afterwards, but once I am completely caught up on all of that, then I'm probably going to be starting work on my Iron Warriors, because now, especially now that we're getting so much cool stuff for them, I'm very excited to be finally painting them. Keeping the Possessed Marine side of things leans into Iron Warriors Horrific Machines. Oh yeah, no, for sure. Just, Ambots and the Arachnite Rigs are probably the main models you want to use out of the Necromunda line. Oh yeah, actually I've thought about trying to use Arachnite Rigs as some sort of proxy for Tau, just because, like, you know, human auxiliaries are a thing for them, right? So I'm sure there's a good battle suit they could stand in for. Also, what's the house? Van Sar? If I'm not confusing them with a different one. Their look kind of matches the Tau anyway. Yeah, Van Sar. Hadn't considered that, but right. Honestly, you could run the Arachnite Rig as Iron Warrior's War Dog. Yeah, actually. I'm gonna end up spending more money. Yeah, actually, that's also not a bad idea. Arachnite Rig as a War Dog. That's that is that is another use for them I've not considered. Yeah, it's fun trying to find uses for some of the Necromunda kits in 40k. Like, heck, if I could, I would like to find a use for like almost every gang. I mean, some are easy, like the Squatch. You just run with the Votan. Like that you don't even have to think about that. But there's some others that I'm positive you could find some very good uses for. Carve down the baby carrier side of things, stick more appropriate weapons on them, some wires and pipes across it, you have a very solid war dog. Yeah. Yeah, there's some very fun Necromunda models that I am excited to use for something. I know there's one character... Again, I am so bad with names of things. There's one character that is definitely a mutant and not a Space Marine that's just gone into exile. Definitely not a Space Marine. That I've considered using as an Ogryn proxy for my for some Imperial Guard. I thought that that could be a fun one. Or I've built a I've built an Inquisitor before out of Necromunda characters too. Mildly altered Palatine enforces as Guevesa? I am not familiar with that term. I'm going to assume that's a Tau thing just because of the apostrophe, but that is a guess. Inquisitors are prime kit bash opportunities? Oh, the human auxiliaries. Okay, okay. I've never heard the actual term for them. Yeah, I could see, given their design, I could see that working for them fairly well. Anytime I have leftover pieces, I end up making Inquisitor. Nice. Alright, where is the little brush? There you are. Yeah, Inquisitors are also just good, like... Oh, you need to swap weapons out for the pulse rifles and stuff, and maybe add some helmets here and there. Yeah, yeah, but even then, like... You wouldn't necessarily... they wouldn't have to necessarily be pulse rifles, just as long as it... You know, as long as you're visually kind of matching the same idea, it wouldn't have to be one-to-one, but yeah. That, I could see that working for them very well. Yeah, like, I am currently in the process of, like, this is a very slow process because I've not gotten anything for them in a while, but I am in the process of putting together a Rogue Trader entourage entirely out of, like, one-off Necromunda and Horus Heresy characters. I just need to get a few more things. Although they might in the end, they might not all be Necromunda and Horus Heresy. Like, I might use the Sisters of Battle Hospitaler for the medic. But other than that, just trying to find some, like, neat niche models to use for it. I feel like the Rogue Trader is a very good opportunity to use some weirdo stuff. Honestly, for 11th, I'd love to see Dark Mechanicus become an actual thing. Same. I've been hoping for Dark Mechanicus or Dark Mechanicum, sorry, my bad, to be a thing for a while now. Like, even if they weren't their own army, if they were just, like, another way of, like, another thing for, like, if they really just want to make Chaos Space Marines the, like, generic Chaos army, like, at least give them a few units if they're not going to make Dark Mechanicum its own thing entirely. But them being their own army would probably be the preferred way to do it. Vashtor moves out of Undivided into Dark Mechanicum. Chaos Space Marine finally get access to Chaos Automata. Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah, there's lots of things I'd like to see. Whether or not any of them will happen, who knows? But if any of them could happen, that would be nice. Although, honestly speaking, whatever does end up happening, I will probably also be excited about. Just realized I'm probably blocking the model there, aren't I? I don't honestly mind how it happens. I just want official demon robots, machine cultists. Absolutely not biased. Yeah, no, I absolutely also want Dark Mechanicum to finally become a thing. Like, I've even thought about using, like, Skitarii as a basis for, like, sort of stand-in Chaos Cultists, since we're not gonna get actual Dark Mechanicum. And heck, if the new 30k Skitarii weren't on the stilt legs, they would absolutely do the job. They're just a little too tall to make good proxies, unfortunately. Decided that any Trader Guard I'll add will be Krieg, because it fits the basic and general aesthetic I have for my Iron Warriors. Actually, that might be even better. Could it not just be cut down? I don't know. That it's maybe. I would have to see what the parts look like. I mean, people way more skilled at it than me could absolutely make it work. I just don't know if it's something that'll be beyond me. If the torso and the legs are separate pieces, depending on the size, maybe you could stick some regular Skitarii legs on the bodies, but I don't know. I don't know what they actually... Without having seen the model in person, I don't... it's hard for me to judge sizes just based on an image. Leg extensions are a lot more complicated than modern Skitarii. Yeah. That was... Again, like, if it's possible to like, if the legs are a separate piece that just attach to the bottom of the torso, then maybe regular Skitarii legs could go on there in their stead, but then, I don't know, their coats might be long enough that that wouldn't work as well. So, that may just not be practical, but modern Skitarii at least could, like, stick some arms on holding las guns instead of, their regular weapons, and I feel like you could come up with some decent approximations of Chaos Cultists that way. Which, again, just kind of fits the Iron Warriors. Although, actually, for my Iron Warriors, one thing I'm thinking of using as some Chaos Cultists for them is I have some of the Orlok gang from Necromunda, and they kind of work. Like, they still just kind of look like civilians, but in a way that I don't know if it necessarily complements the Iron Warriors, but it doesn't feel, like, out of place with them. I don't know. I'm also just kind of desperately trying to find something to do with them, because I don't know what to do with the parts otherwise. But I think that could work. Worst comes to worst, could always find STLs and print them. Yeah. Yeah, that is always an option. Although I have found that even with that, it's kind of sometimes hard to find exactly what it is you're trying to accomplish with it. Because, like, I don't know. I tend to find that if I'm looking at, like, 3D printed Warhammer stuff, it's, like, frustratingly either doesn't look like it belongs in 40k as a setting at all, like it just does not match the visual style whatsoever, or it's just a knockoff of an existing miniature and either doesn't look changed at all or, like, just looks off. And it's like, in both of those cases, like, that's not interesting to me. Like, if I'm gonna get some 3D printed proxies, I want to do something fun with them. But there's not a lot of, like, interesting things going on with that, at least that I can find a lot of times. Did just find a cool STL. Nice. Yeah, sometimes there's some great stuff. It's just, again, my frustration is I get sick of seeing ones that are, like, just knockoffs that aren't interesting. Someone has a part for the Acastus Knight, which embeds the Dark Mechanicus Magos into it. Nice, nice. Yeah, I've seen some very cool parts for that as well. Like, I saw some 3D printed plates for just a regular Questoris Knight that's very Nurgle themed and even has one of the big plague bells hanging from the top of it. There are some very cool things out there. I just wish there was more of it. Alright, Shadowsun is about done, which did take me a lot longer than I was hoping, though part of that I will blame getting too into conversation and paying less attention to what I'm currently doing, but again, like I said last time, I'd much rather have the conversation than just making progress. Alright, well, let's change out my paint water here. And I will be right back. Actually, wait, hold on. Before I get ahead of myself... Nope, never mind. Looks good. I thought I saw something I missed, but there probably is. Oh wait, never mind. I do know one thing I missed. I know what I'm doing. Not just flailing wildly with paint until it looks good. Remember seeing that I missed several times and still never went back to fix it. There we go. Yeah, like, I don't know if you've ever seen the conversions for knights that give, for, like, centaur legs is, a very fun look. I mean, definitely fits some knight types more than others, but I, would like to look into doing, like, one of those someday. Oop. One moment, ran over my headphone cable. There we go. Games Workshop bring Dark Mechanicum to Warhammer as a full army. Oh, neat. For Imperial. Why would you do this to me? Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, I guess they... that is, like, the one draw of that game, isn't it? The fact that, like, they're the one game that has Dark Mechanicum as a faction. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna go change out my paint water, and I will be right back. Alright. Let's get some Nuln Oil here. Wonder if you could use Skaven parts for Dark Mechanicum. So I have been trying to find a way to do that for a long time now. Like, I don't know if you could get a full, like... I don't know about getting a full army out of it, but, like, I've been trying just to find a way to make, like, a kill team out of the Skaven. And, to, like... There are some models that are perfect, and then... It's so hard to, like... It's so hard to find a good match for everything. Not, like, I'm sure it's not impossible, it's just... Would definitely be hard to make it work. Although, you know what I never considered? I wonder how hard it would be to make Skaven work as a proxy for, the Beastmen. Like... Need to find some way to, like, give them auto pistols, but other than that, could maybe work. Although I guess thematically that doesn't really fit them, but I mean, like, kind of does, but like my like the Skaven, to my knowledge, aren't like big bruisers, like the Beastmen are meant to be. So maybe that doesn't work. I don't know. Oh, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, replace the Ogren in the, That could kind of work. I think the trouble I have with, trying to make Skaven work as anything in 40k is there's stuff that makes good characters, but they don't have enough things with guns to, like, there's not enough variety of things with guns to make it work. Like, they have big, flashy, like, character models with them, with, like, either, like, a big rifle or, like, a Gatling gun or something. But they don't have a lot of good analogs for just, like, an infantry squad. That's where, I've had trouble trying to make them work. But yeah, replacing the Ogren in the, Enforcer pair could work. Also, I already saw a spot I missed on this that I'll have to get afterwards. That gives you an idea. Oh, full-sized Ogren is like a centimeter taller than a rat ogre. So I need to do some lifting. Krieg Commissar around somewhere. Yeah, yeah. Like the Krieg Commissar that comes in the command squad, I think can even be equipped with a power fist and a bolt pistol, right? So like equipment-wise, it even matches the trader one, if I'm remembering right. So yeah. I have the command squad, ironically, bought it for a base piece. Just some bit swapping to make him more chaosy. Yeah, I could see that working very well. Find some metal plates to put on the Rat Ogre, and it have some Chaos Enforcers. Yeah? Can confirm they have a bolt pistol and power fist option. Nice. Okay, so yeah, that's about perfect. Heck, I might need to look into doing something like that myself. So, ironically, the thing I remembered at the last minute to fix before doing the wash, I forgot to do the same thing on the opposite leg. I thought I had already done it. Also, I guess I didn't hit this rock. So, next week for stream, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I would like to do something other than painting next week. Just because I've been doing a lot of painting streams lately. And I know this week I wanted to check, originally I wanted to be checking out Fire Warrior. But with having the deadline of getting stuff done, I needed to do this first. But I am starting to get a little bit more caught up, and if next week I'm feeling like I'm comfortable with where I'm at with things, we might do Fire Warrior starting next week. Maybe. That'll just kind of depend on where I'm at after the weekend, so no, can't really say for sure yet. Because I am starting to get a backlog of games I've been wanting to do on stream for a while now. And I'm at the point that I can finally start all of them. So I'd like to start chipping away at that. Still going to be doing painting streams, but would like to mix it up a little bit more than what I've been doing. And when I am doing games, maybe do something other than just Zelda randomizers. Like, I love doing them. Not going to stop, but would like to stream something new now and then. At least one thing, being messy with this stuff generally doesn't, unless I really mess it up, generally just still looks like ground, so. If I'm kind of messy putting it on, it just doesn't look that bad. think the black I use for the edge of my bases might finally be at a point where I need to open a new one. It's not completely out yet, but it's definitely coming out of the bottle in very solid chunks that I gotta keep watering down. So probably be a lot easier on myself to just open a new one. I think all the more I use this black for anyway is usually just bases, so it does generally take a while to use it up, so I don't need to be that precious with it. Just, I don't know, hate to waste paint, no matter how solid it's become. Alright, and that is going to be Shadowsun done. I was very up in the air as to whether or not I should have done a yellow helmet like the other leader units have, but even her default colors usually keep the helmet white, instead of red, so I figured I would follow the same rule, I guess, and leave it blue. Blue is really nice. Thank you. Looks good. Yeah, I wasn't like the yellow turned out great on the Ghost Keel. Like I wasn't sure about that, and that looked fantastic. And I do wonder if I maybe should have done that here as well. But again, just following the same. I don't know, again, rules feels like the wrong word, but the same rules of the colors for the way Shadowsun usually looks. I just left it blue. But I don't know. I guess I could always go back and change that later if I really felt like I needed to. But I'm still happy with it. I think everything turned out pretty good. This also took... I wasn't sure. I knew I would finish this on stream no matter what. Looks great or good. Thank you. Very, very good. Very good pun work. But, get that back in shot. Alright, yeah, I wasn't sure if this was going to take the entire stream or not. And, I didn't really have a plan B to move on to after I got done. I was just going to figure that out when I saw how much time I had. But given I've only got like a half an hour left in stream, I think we're just going to wrap up here. I am very hungry and I want to go get something to eat. And, yeah, don't really have anything else to work on for like just 30 minutes. So, yeah, we're going to wrap there. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Thanks, everyone who has been coming back for these streams. I really appreciate it. And, oh, and thank you for both of those follows that I didn't notice. Apologize that I'm always so bad at noticing that stuff. I keep promising I'm going to get better about, like, setting up, like, proper alerts and whatnot, so I'm not always missing those things, but I never do. Enjoy them? Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. So yeah, like I said, next week will either be more Tau painting, or I'm going to start playing through Fire Warrior. One of the two, depending on how much I've gotten done over the weekend. Wish I could make a promise either way on what it's going to be, but we'll see. I also think just got Fire Warrior today. Nice. Yeah, it's a game I've been very curious about because I vividly remember seeing the box art in the like game rental store way back in the day when I was a kid. not knowing anything, like I knew Warhammer was a thing, so I recognized that aspect of the logo, but that was all I knew about it, and that was all. And years and years later, I had forgotten that it ever existed, and was reminded of it. And Dawn of War, was that for you? Not, yeah. Um, it seemed like now that I know what 40, like, obviously, like now that I'm actually into 40K and know all the different factions and whatnot, the idea of a game centered around, like, from the Tau perspective is such an odd thing that I was just kind of strangely fascinated by it. I was even going to try to, the cover art for Fire Warrior is awesome, agreed. Yeah, I was even going to try to track down, like, just a PS2 copy of it because I didn't know any other way to play it, and then Games Workshop did the hard work for me and put it up on Steam last week. So, or maybe it was this week. I don't remember. Either way, they just put it up on Steam. So I picked it up right away. So we're either, like I said, we're either going to start that next week because I'm very curious to see it. I'm not expecting anything amazing. It's probably going to be a very jank, like, shooter of its era, like. And that's fine. Honestly, if that's all it is, that's perfectly fine. It'll still probably be a good time, and I'm just very excited to see how it ends up playing. But yeah, so the plan is either that or more Tau painting. I know I'm repeating myself a lot. I'm very bad at ending stream, as I'm sure anyone who's watched me repeatedly knows. But yeah. So again, thanks everyone who's been hanging out, especially for multiple streams in a row. I'll be back next Monday. Have a good night, everyone.